Welcome to another Women and a series. It is Zetobo Sigwe, Ezikolomuo. Today I want to discuss on introduction to Igbo mysticism. So many people that are following my channel, people want power. I have talked about power and I have talked about mystical power. So this video is an introduction to Igbo mysticism. I don't think that there will be a further video after it. I don't know. But see this video as Igbo Mysticism 101. If you want to understand Igbo Mysticism, I'm going to explain the basic for you. Igbo Mysticism 101. Now, mysticism in this context, in the context of this discourse, simply means experiencing life beyond the physical, that's the metaphysical, beyond the five senses. This means what we cannot really feel, touch, sense, perceive, see, or hear. That's what we are talking about mysticism. Extrasensory activities, paranormal activities. That's what we are talking about. Introduction to Igbo mysticism. Mysticism 101. So, Igbo mysticism means how Igbos, Ndi journey into the path of the supernatural. Remember, some of our ancestors, Bulikili. What do I mean by it? They traveled at the speed of light. Some disappeared in there. And there is what? Like someone placing his body on this wall and dematerializing into this wall and appearing and reappearing where he wants to be seen. So our ancestors engaged in some kind of paranormal activities. Some did body doubling. That means like how I'm here right now teaching you guys this, and I'll be in another place doing another thing, engaging in another activities. That's bodily doubling. Then some engaged in shape-shifting. Shape-shifting is turning into animal. So I'm trying to teach you Igbo mysticism. And anybody who is doing this, you can only do this if you're a mystic. You cannot do it if you're not a mystic. So an Igbo mystic is one who can decode or tread in the supernatural through Igbo laid down rules for doing so. Through Igbo laid down rules for doing so. That's they achieve this mystical feat. Anybody from another culture can do it, but they have their own system. So Igbo mysticism is our own system of trading into the supernatural. For example, in the Bible, they say Jesus walked on waters. All those things are normal to any mystic, any supernatural. Every culture have their rules, lay down rules of achieving mystical feats. We have many Igbo Dibias that achieved so many mystical feats up to today. That still carry out mystical feats. Now, there are two parts to Igbo mysticism. One is through the path of Obanje, one is through the path of Amosu. If you want to trade, if you want to operate Igbo mysticism, it's either you use the Amosu, the powers of Amosu, or the powers of Obanje. Just like mysticism is seen as something evil and demonic, these two parts, which can be used to journey into the supernatural, have also been seen as something bad. We like giving bad labels. So Amosu and Obanje have been given bad labels, or supernatural activities have been given bad labels. Those who shapeshift don't do that again, or cannot do it openly. Those who disappear and appear cannot do it openly because they do not want to be given bad names, so that someone will not die tomorrow around them and they say that the ones that killed the person. However, nevertheless, this widespread condemnation or public condemnation of mystics have not stopped any serious Igbo seeker to use any of these paths in solving any of their human problems which they feel require supernatural solutions. So despite the fact that there is public condemnation, what has happened is that people practice this mystical faith in recluse. in seclusion, out of public view. Nobody wants to be seen as a candidate of hellfire. So before we proceed, there are two Igbo proverbs or saying that form the basis or underscores the foundation of Igbo mystical practice. There are two Igbo proverbs that forms the basis or underscores the foundation of Igbo mystical practice, and I want you to know this. Number one is Oporo anaya akari onye kọrọ ya no. Oporo anaya akari onye kọrọ ya. This means that one cannot be mightier than his or her creator. One cannot be mightier than his or her creator. So it means that if your culture is a product of mystics, if your culture was fine-tuned, created, arranged by mystics, you cannot change or operate outside the structure created by these mystics who form the basic template of your culture. You cannot. So for an Igbo person who wants to trade in mysticism, you can only trade in mysticism based on the template of your culture. You cannot even do it outside the template of your culture or even supersede those who created the art culture, because this is I need you to understand these proverbs. Even those condemning mysticism are also making the same, falling into the same mistake of Okwarana Akarione Kolieno. You cannot condemn what was used, a system that was used in creating your environment, your culture. For example, you see the Bible, they say that the world was created in 6 days. That is mysticism. Naturally, you cannot create the world in 6 days. If you want to look at it from a natural point of view. So every culture was tamed by mystics. It's mystics that created almost all the cultures and almost all the religions in the world. Now, number two is this means once you have become acknowledged, once you become acquainted with your forebears, they will in turn introduce you into the mystical paraphernalia of your culture. You cannot understand the mysticism of your culture without honoring your ancestors, without being in sync with them. So some people want to understand Igbo mysticism, yet they see their ancestors. They do not honor their ancestors. They see their ancestors. They call them all evil names. No, you cannot, because they, as far as Igbo mysticism is concerned, or even mysticism as a whole, it is your ancestors that will bring you into the hall of mystical operation, into the theater hall, into the admission hall. Some people are. So basically, these two sayings are trying to tell you, what are these two sayings trying to tell you? The importance of Igbo mysticism to your survival as an Igbo. You cannot divorce Igbo mysticism from survival as Igbos. Look at Igbos today. I don't want to delve into some, but Igbos are Igbos economically are hoodwinked, are slaves in the present day in Nigeria, yet they feel that they are doing well. Politically, they are slaves, they feel that they are doing well. In all sectors of our existence as a nation in Nigeria today, Igbos are slaves. They go to the church most, yet they do not own the most churches in Nigeria. Business, they are largely into business, yet there is no one port. There is no one seaport in an Igbo. They are the third in the terms of tribe, major tribe in Nigeria, yet they have been outside the corridors of power politically for 52 years or more than 50 years since the death of Agi Ironsi. They think it's by shouting. It's not by shouting. You cannot do anything if you do not have mystical powers. I'm telling you with all sense of authority. So the Igbos, our survival is hinged on Igbo mysticism. Our breakthrough in science is hinged on Igbo mysticism. We are giving birth, our progenitors were scientists. in their own right, during their own time, with the science of their own day. Now, B, Igbo mysticism is predicated, is anchored on ancestral worship. You cannot access Igbo mysticism without access by cutting ancestral worship. So, worship of our own Igbo ancestors is necessary for us to access mystical powers. It is your ancestors that will introduce you into the portals of mystical powers. Any other route will lead you into mystical and spiritual servitude. Today, so many Igbos are going into entering foreign cults. All those things are servitude, from Christianity to Islam or to Oboni to it will end in servitude. You cannot get into the real corridors. Because as far as mysticism is concerned, it's only your ancestors. If you want to be a lord, a mysticism, if you want to be a lord, you want to be a master, it must be your ancestors. You can only be anchored on your ancestors. Now, having stated the above, here are 5 basic elements that form the fulcrum of Igbo mysticism. For those that want to understand Igbo mysticism, here are 5 basic elements that form the fulcrum of Igbo mysticism. Number 1, the 4 market days. The 4 market days, Afianano, Bosinano. Igbo mysticism revolves around these 4 market days and what it means to the Igbos. Afianano, Bosinano, you must decode the meaning of these 4 market days. You cannot understand, practice, trade, operate Igbo mysticism. You cannot even be admitted without understanding the 4 market days. Without knowing the market day that works for your own lineage. People do not understand that 4 market days. It is integral. It's the bedrock of Igbo mysticism. Now, Afianano, Bosinano, Eke, Oye, Afo, Nkwo, they are important as far as Igbo mysticism. Let me give you a simple example. There are sacrifices that you need to do on a particular market day for you to be in tune with the mystical aspect of your culture. You cannot do it outside any other particular day. You cannot do it outside any other particular day. There are meetings. There are meetings that hold on a particular day. There are gatherings. Our people will say, so there are some certain meetings that you as a living will attend with the dead. This hold on a particular market day. Okay. Number 2. Igbo mysticism is rooted in this cult. Agwo, Ndi Mmili, Ozo, and Mmanwu. You cannot practice Igbo mysticism, understand Igbo mysticism without belonging, without being an initiate of any, at least one or more of this cult. Either na ime agwụ alụ, ọ na-iso n'otu ndị mmiri, ọ na-ịnọ n'otu ọzọ, ọ na-ịbalụ mmanwụ. Igbo mysticism, for you to understand or practice Igbo mysticism, you must belong into one of these or more, or even all. You cannot operate, you cannot practice, you cannot understand, you cannot even scratch Igbo mysticism without being an initiate of these 4 cults. So an Igbo initiate must be a member of it. That's for those that want to understand. Number 3, it is any of the above cults that you belong to that will mold the mystical template that you will operate in. It is this cult that will mold the rules and taboos which the initiate must obey and must strongly keep. Mysticism is not a joke, it's not a child's play. is when you belong to any of these cults. It is this cult that will mold the template you operate in as a mystic. It is their rules you keep, their do's and don'ts, their taboos. Number 4, there are levels and hierarchy. There are levels and hierarchy. One's level of operation and strength is determined by the level he or she has attained in any of these cults. Whether be it Agwo, Ndemili, Ozo, and Mao, there are levels to it. So your level of operation as a mystic depends on the level you've attained in any of these cults. Number 5, finally, these cults are not open to outsiders. If you are not Igbo, you cannot be a part of it. Iburu onye Igbo, yabuni. This is why admission is strictly by lineage. This is the reason. Admission into any of these cults, into Igbo mystical stools, into mystical cults, is strictly by lineage. Remember, I told you, no ndị nna ọfa ga-akpọbata gị. Ndị nna ọfa ga-akpọbata gị. Now, the merit of this, that's this cult not being strictly reserved for the Igbos, is that it makes Igbo mysticism very difficult to dilute, hard to detect, impossible to access, and too strong to destroy. That's why no matter anything that they have tried to, despite all the foolishness of the Igbos, it has been very difficult to conquer them and subdue them. Because the mystical template that was used to establish the Igbos, Osirike, Igbos do not understand what they have. I'm telling you this with every sense of authority. And I'm saying this, and I'm able to say it as easy Kolomo. Some of the things I'm touching here are things that are secret and sacred. But nevertheless, I need to can they malo. Now, the demerit of not allowing outsiders to be part of these Igbo mystical stools is, the demerit is when there is no strong candidate that can match the criteria for admission, because the criteria for admission is too high, the cutoff mark is too high. The mystical embers begins to go cold. Begins to do what? Go cold, because a candidate, an initiate, is supposed to keep fanning that flame of embers to keep energizing that zone that they are operating, to make that power to be relevant and functional, for it to be potent. So when there is no strong candidate that is qualified to occupy, to be a member, a living member, what does it happen? It makes the embers to go cold, and it makes the job of a member, when a member is now admitted, it makes his or her job difficult, because there is a lot of work to do, because it has gone cold and the person is coming again to start to energize it again. So this is the basic, this is where I can stop as far as Igbo mysticism is concerned. Igbo Sirike, Igbo Nwerife, I wish we need to understand it so that we will be able to make progress. Our technological advancement as a people is hinged on understanding and being a member of Igbo mystical cults. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, and share. I would like to hear from some of you. If you have any question, please, you can reach me through the number on the screen, or my email address, or my other social media handles. Thank you. Thank you.